Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Senior Wellness Podcast. I'm John, and today we have an extraordinary guest joining us, someone who is truly a living legend. He has inspired millions with his wisdom on healthy aging, longevity, and living with purpose. At over 100 years of age, he continues to share his knowledge about medicine, lifestyle, and the secrets to staying vibrant as we grow older. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Shigeaki Hinohara. Doctor, so many of our listeners, especially those over 60, worry about age spots. They feel it makes them look older, even if they are otherwise healthy. Let me start with a simple question. Why do these age spots appear? And is there truly a mineral secret that can help us erase them, or at least reduce them?
Thank you, John, for such a warm welcome, and greetings to all your listeners. It gives me joy to speak to people who are eager to learn, because that hunger for knowledge is itself one of the secrets of staying young. Now, about your question, age spots, sometimes called liver spots or sunspots, are indeed one of the most visible signs of aging. They appear usually on the face, hands, and arms, the places that are most exposed to sunlight over the years. But here is the important truth. Age spots are not only about the surface of the skin. They are actually windows into what is happening inside the body. When we see those brown or dark patches, it usually means that the skin cells have been under stress for a long time. Sunlight, poor nutrition, smoking, chronic stress, even certain illnesses, all these can accelerate the process. Melanin, the pigment that gives color to our skin, begins to clump and overproduce in some areas as a defense mechanism. The result is a dark spot that we see as an age spot. Now, many people spend fortunes on creams, lotions, and cosmetic treatments trying to erase them. Some of those approaches work temporarily, but most do not address the root cause. If you want to reduce age spots, you must start by healing the body from within, and this is where minerals play such an important role. You see, after 60, the way our body absorbs and uses minerals changes. Digestion becomes less efficient, the stomach produces less acid, and sometimes medications interfere with absorption. Even if we eat the same foods as we did in our younger years, the body may not be able to take in the nutrients effectively. This is why deficiencies become more common with age, and when the skin does not get enough of certain minerals, it becomes thinner, weaker, less elastic, and more prone to spots and wrinkles. One mineral that I often speak about because it is so essential is zinc. Zinc is a silent worker in the body. You do not feel it directly like caffeine or sugar, but it is working constantly in the background to keep things functioning. It is involved in more than 300 enzymatic processes. For the skin, zinc is like a master repairman. It helps build collagen, which keeps the skin firm and smooth. It supports wound healing. Think of how quickly a cut can recover if you have enough zinc. And most importantly for our discussion, zinc plays a central role in controlling pigmentation. When zinc is deficient, melanin production becomes erratic and you start to see uneven skin tone and those dreaded dark spots. I remember a woman in her early 70s who came to see me many years ago. She was otherwise healthy, but very distressed about the dark spots on her hands and cheeks. She told me she avoided social gatherings because people always commented on how old she looked. Instead of recommending a cosmetic treatment, I asked about her diet. She rarely ate seafood, did not like nuts or seeds, and avoided red meat. In other words, she was unintentionally depriving herself of zinc-rich foods. We made some simple changes. More fish, especially sardines and mackerel, a handful of pumpkin seeds daily, and occasionally some lean beef or chicken liver. We also supported her digestion with more fermented foods like miso soup and pickled vegetables, which helped the body absorb minerals better. Within 6 months, not only had her energy improved, but the age spots on her hands faded significantly. Her friends even asked if she had gone for expensive treatments. She would laugh and say, "No, I just started eating like my doctor told me." But zinc is not the only mineral in this story. It works in harmony with copper. Now, copper is a fascinating element. In the right amount, it helps build elastin and collagen, giving the skin its youthful bounce. It also supports the formation of melanin, but in a controlled way. Without enough copper, the skin can become pale, weak, and prone to damage. Too much copper, however, without balancing it with zinc, can cause the opposite problem: excess pigmentation and even toxicity. This is why balance is so important. Nature always works in harmony, never in isolation. Another mineral often overlooked is magnesium. After 60, stress becomes one of the biggest enemies of our health. Stress hormones like cortisol accelerate aging, thin the skin, and create inflammation that worsens age spots. Magnesium is nature's stress reliever. It calms the nervous system, supports sleep, relaxes blood vessels, and reduces inflammation. Without enough magnesium, you feel anxious, your muscles tighten, and your skin shows the strain. Foods like leafy greens, almonds, and whole grains are excellent sources. So, when I talk about minerals being the secret to reducing age spots, it is not just about one element, but about the orchestra they form together. Zinc, copper, magnesium, selenium, all of them play a part in maintaining healthy, glowing skin even after 60. And the best way to get them is not from a pill, but from food. Pills can help in cases of severe deficiency, but food provides them in natural ratios, along with other compounds that aid absorption. Now, let me explain why this matters so much for people in their 60s and beyond. When you reach this stage of life, the body becomes more sensitive. Small deficiencies that went unnoticed in your 30s or 40s can have a large impact now. That is why I often recommend that older adults eat a diet that is colorful and diverse. Think of your plate as a rainbow. If you are eating red tomatoes, green spinach, yellow squash, purple eggplant, and orange carrots, you are automatically giving your body a wide spectrum of minerals and antioxidants. This not only protects the skin but also strengthens the immune system, supports the heart, and keeps the brain sharp. Of course, minerals alone are not magic. They must be combined with good habits. If you spend hours under the harsh sun without protection, no mineral will save your skin from damage. If you smoke, drink excessively, or allow chronic stress to control your days, your body will show it. But when you combine the right minerals with simple lifestyle practices, walking daily, sleeping well, laughing often, staying connected to loved ones, the results are remarkable. I often remind my patients that the skin is not separate from the rest of the body. It is the largest organ we have. If the skin looks unhealthy, it is a reflection of what is happening inside. Heal the inside and the outside will follow. So yes, John, to answer your question directly, there is indeed a mineral secret. Zinc is perhaps the most powerful player in reducing age spots after 60, especially when combined with copper and magnesium in balance. But it is not a secret in the sense of being hidden. It has always been available to us in the food we eat. The true secret is remembering to value these simple gifts of nature and not being distracted by the noise of quick-fix solutions. The body knows how to heal. We just need to give it the right tools.
Doctor, I really love how you explained the role of minerals in keeping our skin healthy and reducing age spots, but many of our listeners also wonder about the bigger picture. Beyond diet and minerals, what other lifestyle habits can older adults adopt to slow down visible aging and stay vibrant after 60?
John, I am very glad you asked this because minerals are only one piece of the puzzle. If you think of health as a garden, minerals are like the nutrients in the soil. But even the richest soil cannot grow flowers if there is no water, no sunlight, no care from the gardener. In the same way, our body after 60 needs more than just nutrients. It needs movement, rest, joy, and purpose. Let us begin with diet, because food is the foundation of everything. Many older adults fall into the habit of eating the same limited meals every day. This can create deficiencies over time. In Japan, we have a principle called Ichiju Sansai, which means one soup, 3 dishes. It encourages variety in a bowl of miso soup, a small portion of fish or tofu, some steamed vegetables, and perhaps a serving of pickled vegetables or rice. The idea is not to eat in large quantities, but to include different food groups in small amounts. This way, you naturally cover a broad spectrum of nutrients. Another thing I encourage is to eat colorful foods. Each color represents different antioxidants and minerals. Green vegetables like spinach and kale bring magnesium and folate. Red foods like tomatoes bring lycopene, which protects against skin damage. Orange foods like carrots and pumpkin bring beta-carotene, which supports vision and skin repair. Purple foods like eggplant and berries provide anthocyanins, which protect blood vessels and reduce inflammation. If your plate looks like a rainbow, you are feeding your skin and your whole body in the best possible way. Now, let us talk about protein. After 60, muscle mass naturally declines, a process called sarcopenia. When muscles weaken, posture changes, skin begins to sag, and energy levels fall. Protein is essential to slow this process. Fish, eggs, beans, tofu, lean meats. These should be included regularly. For those who cannot digest heavy proteins easily, soups and stews are very helpful. A simple chicken and vegetable soup not only provides protein but also minerals and hydration. Hydration itself is another cornerstone. Many older adults do not feel thirsty as strongly as when they were young, so they forget to drink water. Dehydration makes the skin dry and accentuates wrinkles and spots. It also stresses the kidneys and heart. I often tell my patients, do not wait until you are thirsty. Sip water regularly throughout the day. Herbal teas, soups, and fruits with high water content like watermelon or oranges can all contribute. Now let us move to movement. Our bodies were not designed for stillness. When we stop moving, we age much faster, yet many people believe exercise must be strenuous or difficult and so they avoid it. This is a mistake. At my age, I cannot run marathons, but I walk every day. Walking keeps the blood flowing, oxygenates the tissues, strengthens the bones, and brightens the mind. Even a slow, gentle walk after meals aids digestion and circulation. Stretching is equally important. As we age, our joints stiffen and our posture declines. A few minutes each morning of gentle stretching or yoga can keep the body flexible and prevent pain. For balance, I encourage standing on one leg for a few seconds at a time, holding onto a chair if needed. This simple practice reduces the risk of falls, which are one of the greatest dangers for older adults. Breathing exercises also have a profound effect. Deep breathing fills the lungs with oxygen, lowers blood pressure, and calms the nervous system. In Japan, many older people practice radio taiso, a short morning exercise routine broadcast on the radio. It involves gentle movements combined with breathing. It may look simple, but it has kept millions healthy and active for decades. Sleep is another pillar. Many older adults complain that they sleep lightly or wake frequently at night. While this can be natural with age, poor sleep can accelerate skin aging and weaken the immune system. Creating a routine helps. Dim the lights in the evening, avoid heavy meals late at night, and keep the bedroom cool and quiet. Gentle stretches or herbal teas like chamomile can also support better sleep. But perhaps more than food, exercise, or sleep, the greatest factor in staying young is the mind. I have lived more than a century, and I can tell you with certainty, people who remain curious, joyful, and connected live longer and healthier lives. Age spots on the skin matter far less when there are no age spots on the spirit. Stress, as I mentioned before, is a powerful aging force. It releases hormones that damage blood vessels, weaken the immune system, and accelerate wrinkles and spots. Yet stress is not always about external events. It is often about how we interpret them. Two people may face the same challenge, but one feels crushed while the other sees it as a lesson. Cultivating gratitude, forgiveness, and laughter are powerful antidotes to stress. In Japan, many centenarians live in communities where they remain socially active. They garden together, sing songs, share meals, and tell stories. This sense of belonging nourishes the heart. In Okinawa, people speak of ikigai, which means a reason to live. It can be something as simple as tending flowers, teaching grandchildren, or volunteering. Those who wake each morning with a sense of purpose rarely age in spirit, and their bodies reflect that vitality. I recall a man in his 80s who had lost his wife and was feeling depressed. His health was declining and his skin showed signs of rapid aging. Instead of prescribing more medicine, I encouraged him to volunteer at a local children's center, reading stories to young ones. Within months, his energy returned. His face looked brighter, his posture improved, and yes, even his skin looked healthier. Purpose is the best cosmetic. So to summarize, beyond minerals, the keys to reducing age spots and aging gracefully after 60 are simple but powerful. Eat a varied, colorful diet. Stay hydrated. Move daily with joy. Stretch and breathe deeply. Sleep well. And above all, keep the heart young with curiosity, gratitude, and purpose. Do these consistently, and the skin will naturally show vitality, because it is only reflecting the inner state of the body and spirit.
Doctor, that was such a powerful perspective on lifestyle and mindset. But I know many of our listeners, once they hear about minerals like zinc, copper, and magnesium, might rush to the supplement aisle and start taking them in high doses. Can you talk about the importance of balance here? What should seniors be aware of when it comes to taking minerals? Too little, too much, or the wrong kind?
John, this is perhaps the most important part of our conversation today. You see, in medicine and in life, too much of a good thing can become harmful. Just as a garden needs sunlight, but too much sun will burn the plants, our body needs minerals, but in the right amounts and the right balance. Let me begin with zinc, since we have spoken much about it. Zinc is critical for collagen production, wound healing, and pigmentation control. But too much zinc, especially from supplements, can block the absorption of copper. Copper, as you remember, is essential for blood vessel strength, collagen production, and even pigmentation balance. So if someone takes high doses of zinc every day without considering copper, they may unknowingly create a copper deficiency. This can lead to anemia, joint pain, brittle bones, and ironically worse skin health. I recall one gentleman in his 70s who came to me with chronic fatigue and worsening skin issues. He was frustrated because he was taking a very high dose of zinc supplements he found online, thinking it would erase his age spots. But when we tested him, his copper levels were dangerously low. Once he reduced the zinc, reintroduced copper-rich foods, and found balance, his energy returned and his skin began to stabilize. So the lesson is, balance is always greater than excess. Now let us consider magnesium. Magnesium is called the relaxation mineral because it calms the nerves, helps with sleep, reduces inflammation, and supports muscle function. Yet if someone takes too much magnesium in supplement form, it can cause diarrhea, dehydration, and interfere with the absorption of other nutrients. This is especially risky for older adults, whose kidneys may not process excess minerals efficiently. And copper itself, though it is essential, too much copper can be toxic. It can accumulate in the liver, causing damage, fatigue, and even neurological symptoms. Nature designed us to get these minerals mostly from foods, where they come in gentle amounts and in combination with other nutrients that aid absorption. Supplements can be useful when deficiencies are real, but they must be taken with awareness. This is why I always recommend beginning with food: pumpkin seeds, chickpeas, oysters, and lean meats for zinc, leafy greens, nuts, and seeds for magnesium, shellfish, beans, and whole grains for copper. In food, these minerals are balanced by nature. They are not too strong, not too weak. Supplements, on the other hand, are concentrated and should be seen as medicine, not as candy. Another point we must address is digestion. As we age, our stomach acid levels decline, and this reduces our ability to absorb minerals. So even if you eat well, your body may not take in all the nutrients. This is why I sometimes suggest digestive support, such as chewing food thoroughly, eating slowly, including fermented foods like miso or yogurt, and avoiding too much processed food. A healthy gut is like fertile soil. It determines how well the nutrients are absorbed. And then, John, we must speak about the liver. The liver is like the body's chemical factory, storing and regulating minerals like zinc and copper. But if the liver becomes burdened by alcohol, processed foods, medications, or toxins, it cannot manage minerals properly. This can lead to both deficiencies and toxicities. Supporting the liver with foods like leafy greens, beets, garlic, and green tea helps keep this balance. Now, I must give a warning. Many older adults believe more is better. They read about zinc helping the skin and they take 3 or 4 times the recommended amount. This is dangerous. The truth is the body works best in harmony. If zinc, copper, and magnesium are like musicians, then the goal is not to have one play louder than the others, but to have them play together in a symphony. Too much of one drowns out the music of the others. There are also interactions with medications to consider. Zinc supplements can interfere with antibiotics. Magnesium can interact with blood pressure medications. Copper levels can be influenced by hormone therapies. This is why it is always wise to consult a trusted doctor before adding supplements, especially after 60 when multiple medications are often in use. And let us not forget, deficiencies themselves can also go unnoticed for years. Low zinc may show up as poor wound healing or frequent colds, but many seniors think this is just aging. Low magnesium may show as muscle cramps or poor sleep. Low copper may cause brittle hair or skin sagging. These subtle signs are the body's way of whispering. If we do not listen, eventually the body begins to shout in the form of bigger illnesses. So, John, the key takeaway is this: balance, balance, balance. Begin with food. Use supplements only when necessary. Support digestion and liver health so your body can process what you consume, and never assume that more is better. Nature teaches us moderation. The ocean, the seasons, the breath, they all move in rhythms and balances. Our bodies, too, follow this principle. One last story. I had a patient, an elderly woman who used to say, "Doctor, I take vitamins every day, but I feel no different." When we looked closely, She was skipping meals, eating very little variety, and relying on pills instead of food. Once she shifted her focus back to whole meals, colorful vegetables, light exercise, and simple joy, her energy and skin improved more in 6 months than in 10 years of supplements. That is the true secret. The body thrives when given balance, not shortcuts. True strength doesn't come from creams or quick fixes, but from the balance we nurture inside our bodies.
Doctor, we've covered minerals, lifestyle balance, and even the dangers of doing too much. But before we wrap up, I want to go deeper into something you've touched on several times today. You often say that the body reflects the state of the spirit. So let me ask you directly, how much of aging is really about the body, and how much is about the mind and purpose we carry in life?
John, you have arrived at the heart of the matter. Minerals, food, exercise, sleep, and these are all important, yes. But I have lived more than a century, through wars, pandemics, technological revolutions, and countless medical trends. And what I have seen again and again is this. The people who remain truly young, even into their 80s, 90s, and 100s, are those who never let their spirit grow old. Let me explain. The skin, the hair, the muscles, these are only outer garments. They reflect the condition of the deeper self. If the heart is heavy with regret, bitterness, or loneliness, no cream or supplement will erase the lines that appear on the face. But when the heart is filled with curiosity, gratitude, and purpose, the eyes shine, the posture straightens, and even wrinkles carry a certain beauty. In Japan, we have a word ikigai, which means a reason for being. It is the spark that makes you rise each morning with energy. For some, it may be work or family. For others, it may be art, gardening, music, or serving the community. Ikigai does not have to be grand. It may be as simple as tending flowers, caring for a pet, or preparing tea for a loved one. What matters is that it gives you joy, that it connects you to life. I will tell you a story. Many years ago, I treated a woman in her 90s who lived in a small fishing village. Her face was full of wrinkles, but her eyes were as bright as a young girl's. I asked her the secret to her vitality. She smiled and said, "Doctor, I feed the cats of the village every morning. They wait for me. If I do not rise, who will care for them?" Such a simple purpose, and yet it gave her life structure, meaning, and joy. Her skin glowed not because she used expensive creams, but because her spirit was nourished daily by love and connection. Now science supports this too. Studies of centenarians across the world, in Okinawa, Sardinia, Ikaria, show common patterns. They eat simple, wholesome food. They walk every day. They sleep naturally. But above all, they remain connected to their families, to their communities, to their passions. They laugh, they celebrate, they share stories. This social and spiritual nourishment is as vital as any mineral. Stress, as we know, accelerates aging. But stress is not always external. It often comes from isolation, from feeling purposeless, from believing that life no longer has meaning after retirement or after children have grown. I tell my patients life does not end at 60 or 70 or 80. It only changes form. You must ask yourself, what can I contribute now? What can I learn now? What joy can I create today? Curiosity is another fountain of youth. At 100 years old, I still read new research, attend lectures, and ask questions. When the mind stops learning, the spirit begins to decline. I encourage older adults, try something new. Learn a song, paint a picture, start a small garden, or use technology to connect with loved ones. Every new skill creates new pathways in the brain, keeping it sharp and alive. Gratitude is medicine too. Each morning when I open my eyes, I whisper, "Thank you. Thank you for this breath, this day, this chance to serve." Gratitude softens the heart, reduces stress hormones, and fills the spirit with peace. I have seen bitter people age rapidly, their faces hard and closed. I have seen grateful people age gracefully, their smiles radiant even through wrinkles. And John, laughter. Never underestimate laughter. Laughter lowers blood pressure, boosts immunity, and brings people together. When I was younger, I believed medicine was only about drugs and surgery. But now, after a century, I believe laughter and kindness are the most powerful medicines of all. Let me speak also about forgiveness. Many older adults carry wounds from the past and conflicts with family, regrets, mistakes. These weigh heavily, creating stress that shows in the body and skin. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting or excusing. It means choosing not to carry the burden anymore. When you forgive, you set yourself free. Your shoulders lighten, your face softens, and your spirit shines through. In my long years, I have buried many friends in patience. Death is a teacher too. It reminds us that time is precious. So why waste it with bitterness or with obsession over small imperfections in the mirror? Better to spend it sharing love, serving others, and living with curiosity and joy. You asked me, John, how much of aging is about the body and how much is about the mind? My answer is this: the body is the soil, the mind is the seed. You cannot grow a strong tree without healthy soil, yes, but even the richest soil produces nothing if the seed is weak. Minerals, food, exercise, and these strengthen the soil. But purpose, gratitude, love, and these give the seed life. Together, they create a tree that grows tall and beautiful, even in old age. So my message to your listeners is this: care for your body, yes, but do not neglect your spirit. Ask yourself, what is my ikigai? What brings me joy? Who do I share my heart with? Do not wait for tomorrow to live. Live today, with laughter, with gratitude, with movement, with love. If you do this, your skin will reflect not just youth, but the timeless beauty of a spirit that never grew old.